I wanted to talk a little bit about. Did you watch any of the clips yet, or no, from South Park?
I did. I watched some of it. I haven't watched the whole episode, but I watched some of the clips that are floating around.
So I watched the whole episode. And for those of you who haven't heard about this yet, South Park is, of course, part of Comedy Central. Comedy Central is under the Paramount umbrella. Paramount is the company that just fired Stephen Colbert, who works for CBS, because, of course, they're trying to get a merger approved. It has to go through Donald Trump. And they're also trying to bribe him and pay him off $16 million.
Isn't CBS also the one that's like trying to buy Barry Weiss's free press?
Oh yeah, they want Barry Weiss to come in to be like a content moderator for them, which is basically like saying we need somebody who's gonna like fire anybody who's pro-Palestine, so come in here and do that. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, it's a fucking joke organization. They're pathetic. They're losers. The idea that they think, as Jon Stewart said, you think you can find a way to appease the boy king and stay off his radar long enough where you don't have a problem with him again? Are you fucking stupid? He just sued Rupert Murdoch, the Fox News guy.
Right.
The network that's been sucking him off for decades. Now he's suing them. Why? Because of one story he didn't like. Okay? You're never gonna. He's King Joffrey. No matter how much you appease him, it ain't gonna fucking work, right? So you gotta fight. And that's another thing that Jon Stewart said. But anyway, South Park comes out. And they do, this is amazing. It was amazing, it was brutal, and I fucking love these guys for their balls. Because they know Paramount is desperate to get this merger approved with Skydance. They know it has to go through Trump. They see Stephen Colbert just got fired. They see The Daily Show is on rocks and may fucking be fired soon. They know they're on the rocks. And they come out and they're like, here's a fucking whole show that's all about Trump and how he's like, in the show, Trump is having sex with Satan. He's like the new Saddam Hussein. Like they give him like the Saddam Hussein voice that they used for the Saddam character back in the day.
Well, and Saddam was also in bed with Satan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And then there's also like they got him at like these Jeffrey Epstein like parties in the White House.
Oh my God.
They got pictures on the wall of him like fucking a sheep in one thing, and they got like phallic ones of him shooting guns.
It's all about him
and
having a tiny dick too, right?
Yeah, they literally in the show they a number of times like allude to him having a tiny dick and being massively insecure, and also it's this whole thing about like. He's trying to enforce Christianity on the country, but he's like the least Christian person in the world. It's all about the death of wokeness and the death of political correctness. And Cartman's actually really upset about that because Cartman was anti-woke, was anti-PC, but when everybody becomes that, now he doesn't feel special anymore and he fucking hates it. The PC principal guy becomes like the Christian principal guy. Like he changes and becomes super Christian. And like the whole country changed. Everybody's fucking pissed off. Everybody hates Trump. And it is brutal. Like repeatedly referring to the fact that Trump's an insecure little bitch who will sue you if you ever fucking disagree with him.
Yeah.
Repeatedly alluding to his tiny little dick. Like mocking him on a level that I don't know if I've seen from anybody ever, which is what he deserves and what he needs.
I mean, there's a lot of layers to that too, though, because when you're going after Trump for the fact that he just tries to sue everybody, is doing this as his like repeated bitch move, that's also taking aim at Paramount. And like knowingly so, knowing that they're trying to get this merger through and they're worried about getting sued, they're worried about the merger getting blocked or whatever. So it's also taking direct aim at them. And didn't they just sign like a
$1.5 billion deal for like another certain number of episodes or certain number of seasons?
Like, all right, well, we got our bag, so we're going to do whatever the fuck we want. Not to mention they're already like wildly wealthy.
Yeah, but this is a real risk. I think they know that they're rolling the dice with just being fired on the fucking spot here. If you're a Paramount executive and you're watching this, you're going, oh no, because they worked so hard to try to, give Trump $16 million. Maybe that'll fucking appease him. Okay, we'll fire Colbert. By the way, there's reason to believe Trump directly asked them to fire Colbert, and that's why they did it.
Well, you were playing before we started. Which spokesperson was it who was getting asked about it? Anyway, he wouldn't deny it. And whether it's true or not, it sort of doesn't matter because they clearly want people to have the impression that Trump said you're gonna fire him, and then they did. And that exerting of power is exactly what he wants. So he would have every interest, whether he was the one to say you got to fire Colbert or not, he would have every interest in people thinking that that's what happened.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And at the end of the episode, the South Park episode, you have, in this funny scenario, you have Cartman telling Butters that he loves him because they're trying to commit suicide because they're so upset that the world is now all anti-woke. And he says, I love you, man. And somebody pointed out on Twitter, that I love you, man is not just Cartman to Butters. That I love you, man is from Matt Stone to Trey Parker, or Trey Parker to Matt Stone, because they know, like, this could be the last episode of South Park ever. Because we could get nuked off the air immediately because of this, because we're pissing off our parent company massively by doing this. And rolling the dice with further litigation and all that stuff. So,
but it's honestly, it's such a smart play too, because they didn't like dance around it or try to like push up to the edge.
No, they were like, we're going way over that shit.
Yeah, we are going as hard in the paint as we possibly can, and basically daring them to be like, okay, fucking fire us.
Because here's the thing. Now there would be no plausible deniability for them. They're trying to deny it. When it comes to Colbert, they're trying to say, no, it was just because of the ratings, even though he was number one in his...
Yeah, it was a financial decision. It has nothing to do with the political climate.
So now, with them doing this, like you said, it's like, it's so over the top, it's so aggressively on the offense, that now, if Paramount fires them, or if Trump sues them, it validates their narrative. And it shows, like, these people are fucking bitches, and they're corrupt, and this is all bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so that's what I said to you, too, is that now they really did put Paramount in a weird position and Trump in a weird position, because the best defense is a relentless offense.
That's right.
And now they're like, well, obviously, if I do something now, there is no plausible deniability, and I look like a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and CBS already looks like a bitch.
Of course they do, yeah.
Because, you had they trimmed the sales of 60 Minutes. They were upset about some of the Israel coverage and about some of the like hard Trump coverage, because 60 Minutes has done some great journalism, both with regard to actually Israel-Palestine, but also with regard to the deportations to CCOT. They had a great program about that. And so you had their, I believe, longtime like executive producer who quit because he felt that they were being, they were having their sales trimmed in terms of how they could cover the Trump administration. So you have that. You have them bending the knee on the lawsuit. What was that, George Stephanopoulos lawsuit that they definitely would have won, but they decided like, oh, we're just going to settle. It's basically a bribe. Then you have them firing Colbert.
Right.
And now we'll see what they do here. But it's definitely throwing the gauntlet down, and it's completely in your face from the South Park guys.
Yeah, and I mean, if they wanted to, they could just go independent. They can do whatever they want. And they're already so fucking rich.
Yeah, they could do whatever they want.
But I love it, because that's like, you like to think if you're in a position like that, that's how you would act. You know what I'm saying? And it's nice to know that still exists somewhere in the fucking world, because everywhere you look, there's cowardice.
Well, and this is who they are.
I know, they've always been like that.
They've always been like that.
Let me also say this. I watched the whole episode. There was a moment of like sort of classic South Park enlightened centrism bullshit, which I didn't like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like, well, yeah, in the past we may have gone too woke, but now the answer isn't to go so far in the other direction. And it's like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't hit me with some enlightened centrist bullshit when fascism has taken over the country, motherfucker. Like, go fuck yourself. But at the same time, I was like, this is so South Park. Like, this is their whole thing. It's like...
They've definitely never been woke.
No, then they'll attack. They attack the left plenty when they feel like the
Yeah.
left is ridiculous. They attack the left plenty, and there's been books written about how South Park are secret conservatives or whatever the fuck. But now you look at it and you're like, no, I think they're like, they fancy themselves as sort of edgy outsider enlightened centrists, but they really don't like Trump is like a caricature of himself at this point, right? Like
completely.
It's almost like it's like what a bad comedian would do, pretending to be Trump is what Trump is.
Yeah.
And he's such a silly person that they view this as like a fucking field day for them.
Well, the other thing I like about it, not to like overthink this, but they make him small, like they literally in terms of his manhood, but
and in terms of his stature, everything.
And that I think is a very effective way actually to deal with him.
Of course,
rather than the all powerful, and he's clearly desperate. Like, even in this allusion to, oh, maybe he was the one that got Colbert fired. Like, he's desperate to appear larger than life and like this giant strongman persona. He loves that. And so, the efforts to sort of just mock him and belittle him and make him small, I think, are also some of the more effective and probably more galling political mockery for Trump.
Well, it's like when Tim Walz nailed it when he landed on the weird commentary.
Thing. That was good.
Yeah, when he was like making fun of JD Vance for fucking couches, which was latching onto the meme, doing they're just weird.
Those were great moments.
And it came across as better than the Biden thing is true when he says they're fascists and stuff like that, or they're threats to democracy, but it also just is sanctimonious. Like, by definition, it's sort of sanctimonious. You know what I'm saying? And with the weird thing, it almost cuts through all that, and it's just like, you really want to be with this freak? This fucking freak over here? It's
also, there is a longing right now because things feel very chaotic and people feel lost and what's going to happen in the future and whatever. There is this longing for this like daddy figure to come in and just like lay down the law. And Trump has always made that a core part of his appeal, his like, I alone can fix it appeal. And so, in a sense, even though it is completely accurate that he is a fascist and he is a strongman and he is, you know, been more aggressive and, you know, anti-democratic, like small d democratic in this term than even I could have imagined. Even though that is all true, in a sense, it also does sort of play into his image as this like great, powerful, one-of-a-kind strongman figure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so appreciate what they did there.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I loved it. Hey guys, we had a great conversation with Andrew Callahan of Channel 5. He just did an amazing interview with Hunter Biden that was over 3 hours long. Definitely go check out the whole thing. But if you want to know the entire background story and what it was like and how we met Hunter and what he thinks about the whole thing, subscribe below on Substack. You'll get our full talk with Andrew and you don't want to miss it.